Hi everyone. I wanted to introduce you to one of my favorite books, which is part of my favorite series. It is called Divinity 36, which is a book one of the Tinkered Star Song trilogy by Gale Carrigan. In this book, we meet Fex, who lives in a universe with many planets and moons and many species of people. He is a barista in a small moon until the right person hears him sing. He begins a journey as a contestant in a singing competition which could change his life forever. The prize at the top is ultimate fame and divinity. It is part K-pop, reality TV, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Much like reality TV, the journey is not as fun and exciting as one would think. There are surprises around every corner. Some are delightful and some are downright scary. Fex finds joy in hardship, found family, and love, but that might take a while. This book is full of adventure and new perspectives. It also makes me look back at our planet in new ways. A fun and charming read that makes you think. I'm just going to read you a selection. It's just after page 70. After everyone completed their medical exams, the potential cantors met up with the other 24 potentials in a small dome, where important-seeming acolytes with very perky crests waited for them. The other cantors were notably avoiding Fex. It was like being right back at school on Acticon 7. Fex supposed it was indoctrination time. He lurked at the back, trying not to be noticed, conscious of his height when compared to all the other sapiens. The speech of welcome was made in Dese. Fex could pick out some words from years of listening to Godsong, but he didn't actually understand what was said. Fortunately, they repeated the whole thing in galactic formal. It was absolutely not a speech of welcome. Potentials, let me be the first to enlighten you. Your primary objective here is to form a pantheon. For the first several months during training and assessments, you will be recorded but not beamed. You are of no interest of anyone until you begin to function properly under the dome. We have only 3 rules here on Divinity 36. 1, if you are not good enough, you will be eliminated. 2, if you form a romantic liaison with another potential, you will be expelled. 3, if you cannot tolerate or survive Desi culture, you will fail or you will die. The sapiens in the crowd were shocked into silence by the sharp, direct brutality of the strictures. The grace potentials reacted in mixed ways, but most took it seriously. Only the Dese potentials remained unaffected, their crests puffy and alert. After the speech, food and drink trays were brought in, offering a range of interesting-looking delicacies, obviously representing many different cuisines. Everyone stood in awkward silence for a long moment. Thank you. I hope you pick this book, Divinity 36. Bye.
Hello, FRC students. It's Mrs. Fergusun, the band director at FRC, here with a book to recommend to you. So the book that I've chosen is The Life We're Looking For by Andy Crouch. And this book is basically talking about how we reclaim relationships in a technological world, and we really start to think about how we're connecting with human beings. It's a really remarkable book. I've read it several times and loaned it to many students as they've prepared their college essays and their scholarship applications, and they found it really quite remarkable. So now I'm going to read you just a small excerpt of this book so you can get an idea of what it's all about. The philosopher Albert Borgman used the word devices for the kind of technology that replaces earlier tools and eventually replaces the human beings who use them. The furnace in the basement replaces the hearth at the center of the home. The phonograph replaces the piano and the fiddle. The vacuum replaces the broom and is in turn replaced almost by the Roomba. But there is a way for technology to replace human beings in exactly the opposite sense. This kind of technology can replace us, putting us back in our place, as Job's words, the crown of creation. This kind of technology leads to the creation of cultural goods that are less like a device and more like a tool. Rather than disengaging us from the world and thrusting us into the superpower zone, this branch of technology relies on the ingenuity we human beings have brought to our work and play in the world from the very beginning. Yes, this kind of technology has degrees of complexity, precision, and power that outstrip any pre-technological tool. We use the word instruments in medicine and music. Modern medicine depends on high technology, but much of that technology is used to better equip the person of the physician rather than replace or diminish them. Even the Divinity surgical system, approved by the FDA in 2000 and frequently described as a surgical robot, is not what we usually think of when we picture a robot. It has amazing capabilities, to be sure, extending surgeons' ability to reach inside the human body and remove entire organs through very small incisions. But it does not do anything on its own. It is just an instrument that assists human surgeons as they use their judgment and dexterity. And then there are musical instruments, many of them technological achievements in their own right. Even a classical instrument like the grand piano became possible only with 19th century technical advances, like the overstringing technique patented by Henry Steinway Jr. in 1859. The piano was one of the first musical instruments to be turned into a musical device, something that played on its own with no skill required of its immediate operator in the form of the player piano. But that device is gone, except as a curiosity in a few museums. The instrument remains, capable of enduring the pounding of 2-year-olds, the agonized practice of 6-year-olds, while still responding to the musicianship of 16-year-olds, 76-year-olds, and anyone who kept practicing after they asked their parents if they could quit. Every musical device in my family's home, from the click wheel iPod we purchased in 2001 to the Bluetooth speaker we purchased last year, will irretrievably be obsolete within a generation and worthless in the money economy. But with reasonable care, the grand piano in our living room will survive to be pounded on and perhaps practiced on by my great-great-grandchildren. If the past 100 years are any guide, it may even be worth more in constant dollars than it is today. Check this book out if you're interested in the difference between devices and tools. Thanks for listening.